All right, welcome everybody. If you guys have questions for the panel you want answered as we're going, just type them in the chat and then I'll add them to the list. I'm going to be the interviewer tonight. Let's see, should we introduce ourselves again in case someone watches the recording that didn't watch the other one? Do you want to do that quick? All right, Brittany, go ahead.
All right, I am Brittany, and
I have can't been. Hear you.
You can?
You can?
I can.
It'd be good if I turn my sound on. Go ahead. Sorry.
I am Brittany. I have been a coach. What month is it? Like 2 years and a month, and that's it.
I am Andrea. I have been coaching for 5.5 years approximately. And I do this, I do this full time, but really I do this part time. But it's my favorite job that I have.
My name's Alina, and I've been coaching for exactly 6 years. Actually, I think yesterday might have been my 6-year mark. I'm pretty sure.
Nice. Congrats on that. Love it. All right, we are cutting to the chase with some questions today. And the first one is, how do you deal with no's? Does anyone, you want to go in the same order you went in?
Sure. How do I deal with no's? I just say, like, thank you. And then just depending on like how the conversation went, I just kind of like ended gracefully. Like maybe I say, can I follow up with you in a few months? Or if it was like kind of a harsh no, maybe they're not somebody I want to work with, then I probably won't write them down to follow up with. But really, or just kind of saying like, I'll be here when you're ready. When you're ready to commit or something like that, kind of ending it, just seeing how the conversation went. Or those are a couple different ways that I'll end it or deal with it.
Alina, you can go second on all these so that you're not dead last like last time.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I want to address the mindset piece of this a little bit. So for me, a no can either be, especially in the beginning, I remember being super, super discouraged with every person that told me no, and just feeling like, who does want to do this? Because we know that we have to ask and talk to a lot of people before those people come around that are ready. And just because somebody says no doesn't mean that it's a no forever. But finding those does take some time and some consistency. So I found, especially in the beginning, something that was super helpful for me was in helping me reframe my mindset around the no's, was doing a go for no challenge. So rather than, I had a list of 100 boxes and I went for no, meaning I needed to talk to 100 different people that told me no. And then I would see how many yeses I could get out of that. And I knew that every no that I got me closer to that person that was going to say yes. So I really liked that because it got me celebrating the no's rather than feeling discouraged by them. So every once in a while, I will still occasionally do one of these, but I think it just puts me in the right mindset for accepting those people that aren't ready right now. And just like Brittany said, like keeping that conversation kind of open-ended so that you can follow back up with them, because no right now, being in this business for 6 years, I can tell you that no does not mean no. They come back around. Even a firm no, not interested in Beachbody, like not like no way, Jose, they come back around too. So keep that door open. And just don't ever discount anybody. It might, depending, I always feel out the conversation. Like I don't have a set, like every 3 months I follow up or every month I follow up. I just kind of feel out that conversation and that person. And when it feels right, I come back to them and jump back in their inbox.
I love it when people say no. What I can't stand is when people read your message and say nothing. That gets under my skin. I actually love it when people say no, and I will even tell them that. Like, I love that you know yourself well enough to know that this isn't for you right now. Like, thank you for being honest. Thank you for responding. I genuinely appreciate it. And 99% of the time, they are so astounded and blown away that you're like happy that they said no, that it totally like breaks the awkwardness, because what they're expecting is what most other network marketing people do. Like, when I tell someone no, they're like, okay, bye. Like, they get all weird, and then they're like, meh, or they don't say anything back at all. But it's just human. Like, be a human, thank them. And you can even just be really bold with your response and just say, hey, I'm going to reach back out in a couple of months and see if then is a better time for you. I've never had anyone say, please don't do that. They're just like, okay. So I put them on my list for like 3 months down the road. I'll write a little note, like they're trying a gym membership. And so when I reach out to them, I can be like, hey, how's that gym membership going? Are you still going 5 times a week like you said you wanted to? And they're probably not. So I love it. Just like Alina said, change your mindset around no. Get excited when somebody responds to you and says no, because it honestly, I think it keeps the conversation open. It's when they ghost you that you're just like, okay, but I don't really like, you just made this weird.
And how about the people that ghost, but then continue to like your stuff, but like don't respond? But no joke, keep inviting those people too, because I now have a fantastic hit it out of the park challenger who ghosted me 7 times before she signed up. Just so you know. Okay. I love all those answers. The next question then is, what about haters? So a rude comment, a snarky message back, somebody hating on you. What do you do? And then there's maybe a second part to this. If anybody has had this happen, if it's been somebody close to you, like a friend or family, how do you handle that? Go ahead.
I have only had this happen once, and you take your 5 seconds of like, holy, what the, and then you just kind of like bless and release, because the biggest thing is that it's not you, it's where they're at and things that they're dealing with. And it usually comes out, like in that blow up or whatever they said, it usually kind of comes back to something that they're dealing with. Luckily, I don't have anyone that's close to me that is a hater or anything. I do have a lot of support. So I just have that one experience, but the biggest thing, I mean, Candace and I joke, like, that's when you know you made it, is when you get a message like that. But at the same time, like, it was just very evident that it's on them and it's not what I'm doing. And I'm not going to let one person who's unhappy with her life affect me from helping others change their life.
Okay, so bless and release is my phrase as well. Like, I do not engage. I will not engage with people who lash out. It's not worth my time. I will not spend an ounce of my time engaging with somebody who's going to just spew their negativity into my life. I have seen a few times I have engaged when they lash out at friends, because then I feel like, I want to have their back. But if it's coming at me, I bless and release it, and I just don't. I don't continue a conversation. I block them if it's somebody who is posting nasty stuff on my page or sending me nasty messages. I just block the account. I haven't had anybody super close to me either be like real nasty, so I haven't had to deal with that, thankfully. But I think Andrea can speak to that.
Yes, I can. So first of all, I just want to say, feel your feels. Don't shuffle them under a rug, because they will emerge in insecurity and self-limiting beliefs later. Feel your feels, reach out to a friend that is going to have your back no matter what, to help you talk you off your ledge. And then, like they both said, bless and release, which is so easy to say. And it's actually pretty easy to do if it's a stranger giving you hate on the internet, which I have had. I've had blatant comments on my posts telling me that I look like I have an eating disorder. I shouldn't be guiding other women in groups because I'm too skinny. I've gotten them, but like Brittany said, that's when you arrive, because if you don't have haters, you aren't being brave. You aren't stepping outside of your comfort zone. If you aren't making other people uncomfortable enough for them to like spend time out of their day to actually type something and say something mean. But when it is somebody that you care about, it's really difficult. One of probably my absolute closest friend to me at the time, when I first started coaching, we now no longer speak because she didn't like the changes that she saw in me, and I wasn't the same person, and she wanted me to go back to the old Andrea. And that's not at all where I wanted to live. That's where I wanted to grow away from, was the mediocrity and the complacency and all of it. So I got a very long nastygram message from her, and I had to sit on that for a few days before responding back. And I tried to be as kind as possible, basically just saying like, I'm sorry that you don't feel like you know me anymore, but I don't want to be her. So I can't just go back to being the old Andrea. Like, I'm going to continue to grow and evolve. And that's just the way it is. And we haven't talked since. So know this, that I know what that feels like, and you are not alone. If you ever have a situation like that and you can reach out to me, I can be that friend that has your back no matter what. Because you basically just need to make sure that you have the right people in your tight-knit circle that are going to help you like get through something really, really tough like that. A stranger on the internet, that's kind of cool. Like, that's a badge of honor, like Brittany was saying. But when it's someone close to you, it's a totally different ball game. And it's also just a very personal situation. So I don't have any cookie cutter advice for that, except to just reach out to somebody who you absolutely trust, to kind of work through those feelings.
I want to add one more thing too. It always stings a lot more, whether it's a stranger or not, when you're not doing personal development. Like, I've found that when I'm getting comments and I haven't been doing my personal development, it like gets me, you know? But if I've been building my mindset and I'm strong up here, it just in one ear out the other. I just don't even care. So it's so much easier to brush it off if you're already building that mindset in personal development.
Yes, that's a great ad. It's the saying, like, where your focus is, your energy will go. So I don't want to ever give any haters any time. So I just block so fast. Okay. How do you guys decide what groups you run? So get any kinds of groups for coaches, groups for challengers, free groups. How do you make those decisions?
I think they're usually on a whim. It could be something between Candace and I, like one of us had an idea to do something and then we just kind of go from there. Between like listening to different trainings or just anything that's kind of around us or like going on in our life in general. We just did a revamp your morning group that we just wrapped up last week. It was something we'd never done before. We had talked about it a few months ago, drug our feet, got it done in like a 24-hour period. I think we wrote our post probably. And I think it ran extremely well. And then we are thinking about doing something like Merry Meals Mindset and something, I can't remember what it is, but that'll be like our free group in December. And yeah, I guess just kind of what speaks to us. So
I've tried a lot of different things over the 6 years that I've been coaching. And I used to run a different group with a different name and a different theme every single month. And in that season, I loved that. And that worked really well for me. Recently, these last couple of years, Andrea and I have run like a consistent month-to-month group, and that's where we just plug people into all the time. And then occasionally I'll run a program specific group if something new is coming out, or like Brittany said, on a whim, if we get a random idea, we'll throw something together, or I'll run a group for something. As far as coaching goes, that's totally on a whim. We're just depending on what it seems people need. If it seems like there's a wave of people that are trying to shoot for a certain rank, or that need certain support in something, that just kind of comes with, what we see is in demand, kind of what is needed. But I think you just kind of have to play around with it and see what works for you and what doesn't, because just like everything in this business, what works for a lot of people might not be your thing. I tried free groups for a long time, and that wasn't a successful avenue for me. And I felt like I could use my energy and my time doing something else that was more successful for me. But then you have top coaches in the company that are saying run free groups every month. So it just is finding what works for you and your schedule. Honestly, you guys, my groups change too based on my season of life and what I can juggle in that moment, in that month. If I've got a lot on my plate, having just a streamlined group that I can plug people into that's already put together, that works for me. If I have a little more time, maybe I'll put together something a little, new and fresh, and, something for that month in particular. So that's what's worked for me for that.
I also echo the seasons of life thing. Right now, with my building project that I'm doing, it's a season of just busy. And so having that consistent, we call it our lifers group. It runs 365 days a year. And that's just a place where we can plug our people into. What I see for the future, once this building project is done at the end of this year, I see running smaller groups on the side for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then graduating them into the larger group, so that I have just small pods that I can kind of get them kickstarted and building a community with a small group. Even if it's 3 people, you guys, you can run a group with 3 people. Did you know that? You don't have to have 10. You don't have to have 8. You can be a group with one other new person, and it's the 2 of you getting started. There are no rules. I feel like everyone has this like idea that you have to have tons of people signing up in order to do this. You could post a group like on a whim, because that's also how I run this business. I just try stuff. You post a group and there's like 20 people from your ongoing accountability group that want to be in this smaller group, and there's 1 new person. Great. Like, there aren't any rules. So if you feel a nudge in your gut to host a group around something, around crock pot meals or 20-minute workouts or whatever, like, post about it, start talking about it, inviting people to it, and just see where it takes you. And if it doesn't work, then don't do it next month. Like, just constantly try new things. Try the free group thing. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. I've taken a couple-year break from doing free groups, but I'm kind of feeling the nudge to jump back into it once my project is done. So it ebbs and it flows, and it gets refreshed, and just keep trying new stuff, because if you're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it. If you're bored, the people in your group are bored. So you need to kind of mix things up to keep it exciting.
Perfect. How do you guys talk about the coach opportunity? So maybe it's with posting or stories, but maybe also behind the scenes to your customers. How do you talk or present the coach opportunity?
I kind of just give in my stories, it's kind of like a sneak peek, or, like just little bits and pieces of like what it looks like to be a coach, like these calls, my morning work hours, just kind of like snippets like that. When I talk about the coaching opportunity, I don't personally talk about like the income, because I didn't come here necessarily for the income, and I still don't like, I don't know, I shouldn't say it like this, but like, I'm not here. Yeah, I am gonna be here for the income. So, well, this will go to our next question, but like, I don't know. Let me refocus. Maybe come back to me.
So I use my stories a lot for this too, and I do it in my posts, but I try to hit some of those different draw points for coaching. I think about all the ways that coaching has blessed my life, and I try to talk about those things. So they can be little things or they could be big things. The community, how you used your money, the trips that we go on, like all the different aspects of coach life, being able to work for ourselves and make our own decisions and make our own hours, and then pulling those into just little cookie crumb stories, or just a quick little post so that people can see the whole picture. And everybody joins this business for a different reason. So you never know which one of those things is going to draw in your next coach. So really trying to make sure that you include a variety of conversations around coaching. But I would definitely say stories are my biggest place for that. It's easy to show everyday life and to include little things about how this is a part of being a coach, that help other people, I think, really relate. Stories are a great way to relate to people because they see that you're a real person. And when they hear your voice and see your face, it makes it so much more real than just, reading some text. So I think doing that really helps them see, like, okay, if she's doing that, I think I could probably do that too.
I agree. I use my stories the most. I take a boomerang of me sitting down about to work, and I usually try to explain in layman's terms what work is, whether that's setting up my next accountability group, helping the 2 new girls that just signed up to get ready, getting them, figured out how to log in and find their workouts and their meal plans and all that kind of stuff. Or like I just went on my stories before this call for a minute and just talked about what I was about to do and that this fills my cup and I love mentoring other people. I'm really trying to speak to the other women that absolutely love being a catalyst and empowering other women and guiding them and helping them, and the people that get excited about that. That's my person. And I also do like typed up written posts about coaching and how that's changed my life as well. But I think it's just a very natural way to just pop on your stories and just share the day to day. Like I'm sitting down and, my workout is part of my job. Talk about that. Like this is part of being successful in this business, is staying as healthy as possible, getting in the best shape of my life. All the things.
Can you guys add, so where do you feel like you found your coaches, or how did they take the leap, I guess, from being like a customer and then jumping to coaching, or how did they jump in from straight into coaching, if you had any of those?
I would say 99% of mine have started out as challengers in accountability groups and then found their own personal success and then wanted to start sharing it with others.
Yep, that is mine as well. My business builders came and got killer results, and they just wanted to share that with other people.
Ditto. Same. I think, yeah, you definitely have those stragglers that come. Like I was somebody who joined strictly for the business before I had done a program. So there are definitely those people, and I wouldn't, discredit finding them that way. It doesn't have to come through a challenge group. But a lot of those ones are someone who has either done a program before or is in your challenge group and seeing really good results and thinking, why don't I make money while I do this?
Perfect. Okay. If anybody has any final questions, drop them in the chat or unmute yourself, but I'm going to ask one more then. What is your ultimate goal for your business?
I think this is a hard one to answer because coaching, seeing other success in the business, it's not a full-time job. So I feel like being a successful coach will just open up other doors for other opportunities and things to open. And I don't have them all figured out yet on what they will be. But it just kind of gives me hope that leaving my 9 to 5 desk job, that's a possibility, and that I feel like I'm going to be able to go part-time and then leave and do something else. I don't think it's going to be like full-time, like all I do is coach. But it just really shows me that there's so much potential to do whatever you want with this business.
Yes, I love that. And that strikes a chord with me too, because I feel like my goals in this business have changed constantly over the last 6 years, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I really want. But a huge part of that is just the doors that will be opened through this. And for me specifically, that is because this business makes me the best up here. And like it has taught me like so many things as far as being brave and doing things that are uncomfortable and just doing things that are going to open opportunities. And so I love that about this. And I don't know what my ultimate goal is. Like I said, I'm still figuring that out myself, but I know that I'm here for a reason, with a purpose, and for the long haul. So I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time.
And I am different in that I know exactly what I want with this business. I want to make a consistent 6-figure income. But I'm also not somebody who's like, all I want to do is coach. Obviously, you've seen me open a boutique and then become landlords. So I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur at this point, but this job hands down brings me the most joy out of any job that I have ever done. It is so much like teaching. It is the best pieces of teaching, helping people realize they can do hard things. But hand in hand with the 6-figure goal, what makes me the most happy in this job is helping each and every one of you reach whatever goal you set. So if your goal is to leave your full-time job and do this, plus open up some other business, or you want to coach full-time, or you want to make $1,000 a month, and that would just make you so happy, that makes me happy to help you reverse engineer that and cheer you on and empower you. So those are all my 2 ultimate goals. I don't have a goal to be a top 10 coach and be like traveled and carted around the world and go on fancy schmancy trips. Like that's not my thing. I'd love to be an elite coach. But I want to be a part of the Million Club at some point, where you've made a total of $1 million in this business at some point, like you hit that number. So yeah, shooting for that.
Love it. Awesome. All the goals can be so different, and it's totally fine. And coaching can do all of that. Are there any final questions from anyone?
Or you could help us with questions that we answer on our next call too.
Yes, we're going to do one more of these.
Or 2 more.
Yeah, true.
Because there's 4 of us. If we rotate, that'd be 4 times.
True. Good point. Any questions? No. Well, thank you, panel. That was fantastic. All right. I will close the call then, and I'll get the recording up on both of our team pages so people can rewatch it. Thank you, guys.